Most English learners watch hours of content every single week and still can't speak. If that's you, I promise it's not because you're not trying hard enough. It's because of one missing skill nobody ever teaches you. It's called noticing, and by the end of this episode, you'll never listen to English the same way again. Noticing simply means paying real attention, not just letting English pass through you, but actually catching it. This one shift can make your learning far deeper. It turns you from someone who's only listening or only reading into something more like a language detective. A detective doesn't just hear English, a detective notices it. Here's the problem most learners run into. You watch videos, listen to podcasts, follow teachers online, read comments and subtitles and messages every day, and that contact is genuinely valuable, but often English just flows past you like traffic on a busy street. You see dozens of cars go by. One's red, one's black, one's fast, but 10 seconds later, you can't remember a single one. English can work exactly the same way. You hear the words, you follow the sentence, you think, yeah, I get it, but later, when you actually try to speak, nothing comes out. Why? Because you only saw the English. You didn't notice it. Seeing isn't the same as noticing. Hearing isn't the same as noticing. Noticing means pausing for a brief moment and thinking, this is useful. I want to remember this. I want to use this. That small pause is genuinely powerful. Your brain can't absorb everything at once, but it can absorb one small thing extremely well. So this isn't about hoarding 100 new words. It's about catching one genuinely useful piece of English and locking it clearly into your mind. Here's an example. Say you hear this line in a movie. I did not mean to hurt your feelings. You understand it great, but if you just nod and move on, you'll probably forget it by tomorrow. Now try noticing instead. Pause and ask yourself, what's actually useful here? The useful part is, I did not mean to. That's a hugely reusable pattern. I did not mean to be rude. I did not mean to forget your birthday. I did not mean to make you angry. Suddenly, that one sentence isn't just a sentence anymore. It's a small machine you can plug into countless situations. That's noticing in action, taking one sentence and pulling out the reusable engine hidden inside it. A lot of learners try to memorize whole sentences word for word, which helps sometimes, but it doesn't teach you how to adapt them. Noticing shows you exactly which part can flex and change. Now, you don't need to notice everything. Please don't try. You'll burn out fast. Just focus on 3 things: useful patterns, small natural words, and how English softens compared to a direct translation. Let's start with patterns. A useful pattern is a reusable sentence shape. Things like, it is hard to, I am trying to, I was about to, I am not used to, I do not feel like. These patterns carry more weight than memorizing single words ever will. Take, I do not feel like cooking tonight. The reusable shape is, I do not feel like, and now you can build endless sentences from it. Going out, talking, studying, eating anything heavy. This is how native speakers actually talk. So next time you hear a sentence, don't just ask, what does this word mean? Ask, can I reuse this shape? That question alone is genuinely magic. If the answer's yes, jot down just the pattern, not the whole sentence. Second, small natural words. Learners often chase big, impressive vocabulary, but natural-sounding English actually leans on tiny words. Just actually, really, maybe, probably, still, already, even, kind of, a bit, I guess. These words look small, but they completely shift the tone of a sentence. Compare "I'm tired" to "I'm just a bit tired." Softer, right? Or "you're wrong" versus "I think you might be wrong." Instantly more polite. Or "I need help" versus "I just need a little help." Much lighter. Noticing these small words is exactly what makes your English start sounding human instead of textbook stiff. Here's a great exercise. Next time you watch a short video, don't try to catch every new word. Just pick one small word and track it. Say you choose just. Then notice every way it shows up. I just want to ask you something. It's just a small problem. I just got home. I just don't understand. I'm just tired. One tiny word, endless uses, and you don't need a grammar lecture to absorb it. Just notice it, hear it, feel it, again and again. After a few days, it starts slipping into your own speech naturally. This is literally how kids pick up their first language, through repeated exposure to small patterns. Adults can do the same thing, just with a bit more deliberate attention. That attention is noticing. Third, soft English, language that sounds polite, gentle, and natural rather than blunt. A learner might say, "Give me your pen," grammatically fine but often too direct. A softer version, "Can I borrow your pen?" or "Could I use your pen for a second?" Notice that shift. You're not just learning meaning, you're learning social feeling. English isn't only grammar, it's connection. Every time you speak, you're not just handing over information, you're signaling respect, friendliness, curiosity, or care. So next time you're listening, ask yourself, how does this sentence actually feel? Friendly, polite, casual, serious, soft, or strong? That's a whole new layer of noticing. Compare "I disagree" with "I see what you mean, but I think." The second one is noticeably softer, giving space before the disagreement lands. That's the kind of English that actually fits real conversations, not just grammar tests. Quick question for you. What's one small word or phrase you've noticed English speakers use a lot, that you never really thought about before? Drop it in the comments. I read everyone. Here's a simple daily method I call one-line noticing. Every day, pick just one line of English, from a podcast, a movie, a video, a message, a book, a comment, doesn't matter. Write it down. Then do 3 quick things. Underline the useful pattern inside it. Change one part of the sentence to make it your own, and say your new version out loud. Now, let's put this into practice together. I want you to listen to a short clip about taking small steps every day and actively notice a few key words and patterns as you go. What if you took one small step every day? Nothing dramatic happens on day 1. You don't suddenly feel disciplined or transformed. Honestly, it can feel almost pointless. Reading 2 pages instead of none, practicing for 10 minutes instead of skipping entirely, writing a few lines instead of waiting for the perfect idea to strike. It feels small, almost too small to matter, and that's exactly why most people ignore it. We're wired to chase big, dramatic results. But real progress rarely looks dramatic. If you took one small step today and another tomorrow, something quiet starts happening beneath the surface, invisible at first, unimpressive, but real. Because consistency begins exactly where motivation runs out. By day 3, your brain starts negotiating with you. This is too small to matter, just skip it today. And it'll sound completely reasonable. But if you show up anyway, even when it feels pointless, you're building something bigger than progress. You're building identity, not the version you talk about, the version you actually prove through action. Every small step sends yourself a quiet message. I'm someone who shows up. Repeated daily, that message turns into belief. After a week, nothing huge has shifted, but something subtle has. The resistance gets a little weaker. Starting gets a little easier. You stop needing to convince yourself so hard. You just begin. After 2 weeks, something interesting happens. The step starts to feel too small. 10 minutes feels short. 2 pages feel light. Not because you're forcing more, but because your baseline has genuinely shifted. This is exactly where most people trip up. They suddenly leap from small steps to big dramatic changes, and big leaps break consistency. The real power was never in doing more. It was in showing up daily. Keep the steps small, even when you're capable of more, and you protect the habit. And the habit is the actual goal, because habits scale naturally. Force doesn't. After a month, small but undeniable results appear. You know more. You feel a bit more capable. And more importantly, you start trusting yourself more. And that trust is the real reward, not the outcome itself. Most people don't fail from lack of ability. They fail because they stop trusting themselves to continue. They start strong, then vanish. Small daily steps break that exact pattern. You stop relying on motivation, stop waiting for the right mood, and start acting even when, especially when, it feels completely ordinary. By 3 months, the compound effect becomes visible. What once felt small stops being small. Small daily actions stack, connect, and build. 10 minutes a day adds up to over 15 hours of focused effort. Writing a little daily leaves you with real, tangible output. Learning daily deepens your understanding, not from intensity, but from sheer continuity. This is where the real gap forms, not between talented and untalented people, but between consistent and inconsistent ones. The difference was never effort, it was frequency. By 6 months, your standards themselves change. You stop accepting 0 days. You stop skipping without a real reason, not because anyone told you to, but because it simply starts to feel wrong. So, what if you took one small step every day? You wouldn't transform overnight. You wouldn't impress anyone quickly. You might not even feel powerful at the start, but over time, you'd become genuinely unstoppable, because while others wait around for motivation, you'd already be moving. While others start and stop, you'd keep going. While others chase intensity, you'd be quietly building stability. And stability always wins, eventually, every time. So the real question was never whether small steps actually work. They do. The real question is whether you can respect something small enough to actually repeat it. Because if you can do that, take one step today, another tomorrow, without needing it to feel big or dramatic, you unlock something most people never reach. Not talent, not luck, control. And once you have that, progress stops being a mystery and becomes a system, quiet, slow, but one that simply never fails. That's the exact mindset behind noticing, too. Small, repeated moments of attention, not massive effort all at once. Before we wrap up, tell me in the comments, which noticing method are you going to try first? One-line noticing, tracking a single small word, or listening for soft English. I'd genuinely love to see your answers. Remember, you don't need to notice everything. You just need to notice one thing really well every single day. Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Speak Flow. Bye for now.